Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for this Orphan Black live chat. Hopefully you can hear me. Sometimes, oh, there we go. We're starting. Okay, let me know if you were in the room, and I also am curious to see what you guys thought about last night's episode. I personally really loved it. It was one of my favorites from this season for various reasons, but I'm going to wait and see who is in the room or who is coming to the room so that I'm not talking to myself. I saw several of you retweet that you would be here on Twitter. So I am just waiting to see if anybody is here. I know this is a different time. I'm not going to be here for the next couple of days, so I wanted to try to do a live chat and talk to you guys about this episode so that we could do that instead of doing it at the normal schedule time because I will not be here. But so far, nobody is here. So I'll talk a little bit more about why I like the episode. Well, of course, I've been waiting on Crystal to come back to the show for quite a while now. You guys know I've told you many times I can't wait for her to come back. So I was really happy for her to be the focus of this episode. Hi, Ralph. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Julian. Thank you for being here. I was really happy with everything they did with her in this episode, and I don't know if that's the last time we'll see her, but it possibly could be. But I loved how she had a YouTube channel, even though they didn't really call it YouTube, that's what they meant. And she was trying to get to 100K. Like, they were, if you follow the Orphan Black on Twitter, they were tweeting about that. And also Tatiana's real boyfriend, Tom Colley, was actually in the show. He was playing that guy that she was like hooking up with who came to her apartment. Hi, Una. Thank you for being here. And I recognized him right away because I used to be a huge Downton Abbey fan, and he was one of the actors on that show. And so if you recognized him from that, and I'm a big fan of Tatiana, so I knew that that was her real boyfriend. So I actually tweeted out like, oh my God, that's Tatiana's real boyfriend on the show. And then the Orphan Black account retweeted me, and then I got like a zillion retweets. So if you've ever been retweeted by a show, your phone will blow up. Like, I thought my phone was like, it went black for a few minutes. Hi, Musty. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Debbie. Yes, and I'm sorry about the different time, but I'm not going to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I wanted to get this in, and for those of you who can't make it, I understand. Hopefully you can watch this later. But what did you guys think about the episode? Actually, a lot more went on than just the Crystal appearance, because Cosima was finally able to break away and leave the island. What's her name? Susan. Pretty sure she's dead. I don't know what's going to happen to the caster guy. I can never think of his first name. I feel like he could die as well. And I was kind of surprised to see them do a more lighthearted episode again after we had the Donnie and Allison, which had a lot of humor in it, because I thought that might be the last. But I think what they're trying to do is give us like the last hurrah for like all of the different clones. And I'm still wondering if we're going to see Tony, the guy clone, because we've pretty much seen everybody else. So I'm wondering if they're going to bring him back in some way. But I feel like this might be the last we see of Crystal, and definitely going to be the last like heavily focused episode on her. But I really loved it, and she made me laugh so much, and I love this episode. You know, I think this episode reminded me of why I really enjoy the show, because sometimes the show has super slow, in my opinion, episodes, and this one had really great pacing with the humor, but then the serious aspect of what was going on with the island, and also dealing with what could possibly happen to Kira. Ralph says, since the Castor twins' nose was bleeding, it meant his time is up soon. You know, we remember this happened a lot with Cosima, but she's better now. And the bad thing is, I believe that Susan would have been able to help him, and she didn't. So she kind of ended up being a pretty terrible character. I don't know. Lauren says it was a sad ending for her, but I personally kind of feel like she's super shady, and non-trustworthy. It was like she had an alliance with the PT guy and what's her name? Rachel. I don't know. I just feel like we couldn't trust her, so I wasn't actually sad that she died. Claire is asking, what do I think will happen to Ira? Thank you so much. Ira is his name in the next episode. Personally, I think he will die, which I think it's okay, because he's like one of those disposable characters, kind of like MK, and not that it wasn't kind of sad that she died, but if you guys know what I mean, we don't know much. Thank you, Debbie. You also told me there was Ira. We also don't I don't feel very close to him. I appreciate that he was a nice clone because some of them were crazy and terrible and mean. So I appreciate that, but it's like, I personally won't be sad if he dies. I think they're going to do that. I think they'll kill off, you know, several people who don't really matter. I don't mean to offend anyone if that's one of your big, you know, if you're a fan of his. Now Ralph is saying you still think Cosima will die somehow. She just puts herself into too many dangerous situations, and she's definitely doing that. And I still think, you know, I don't know exactly who it's going to be, but I have a feeling that one of like the main clones, like one of our favorites, will die. But in a way, I kind of hope they don't do that. I don't think they necessarily have to go there, but I kind of see them going there. And she would be one of the people that I would put into that category of a possible person they would kill off, along with Sarah, which a lot of people seem to think Sarah will die. Claire is thinking that Charlotte might die. Now, I could definitely see that happening, saying it would be dark, but this makes sense. The old man could do it to control Cosima. Right, because Charlotte, you know, Cosima's trying to help Charlotte and wants the best for her. And that PT guy is insane. And I mean, honestly, I believe he will die as well because he seems to not be in good health. But someone could kill him before he has the chance to just actually die. Zoe, yes, I'm back with them. I don't know if you're a fan of this show, but thank you so much for being here. But yes, I'm back at a new time with this. And just a heads up for anyone who has watched Gypsy on Netflix, I have been I was asked by so many people to watch it. I just finished it last night, so at 3 p.m., you know, a little less than an hour, I'm going to be doing my chat on the entire series. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's 10 episodes. I was able to watch it very quickly because I was very much into it, but I will say that it's probably not like any other show that I've covered on my channel if you watch a lot of the stuff that I do on my channel. And a lot of people told me that it was slow, and I did not think that, so I'm just giving you a suggestion if you're looking for a new show, and then you can come back and watch my video later, or if you have finished it, you can join us at 3 for that chat. Ralph says the girl with the bell on her now feels duped by the doctor. Yes, the girl that they call like Mud, is that the one you're talking about? She actually might be the one to kill him and not one of the clones. I think that's who we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, I kind of see him being murdered, and I think that would be good, but at the same time, I feel like he's really sick, so again, I don't think he's as old as they say he is, and I think Cosima even questioned that or said, like, you can't be that old or whatever. And then as far as Kira, as a lot of people have asked me, like, do I think that they will go through with their plan for her? And I really don't. We only have a couple of episodes left, and I definitely don't think they would want to end the series with something so terrible happening to a young child. So I think that will never happen. I mean, it's kind of a cliffhanger that I feel like they could have used in a previous season, because they could have carried that into the finale and then resolved it with the next season saying this is not going to happen, because I just feel like there's no way in the world that they're going to be harvesting her eggs or any of that stuff's going to happen, because I don't see them being that super dark. I mean, it's a little bit of a dark show, but not to end the series with saying that that's going to happen. I don't see that. Claire is saying that Mud has to have a dark story and she has to kill someone. Kind of goes along with what you're saying, what I'm saying. Yeah, and I mean, I think, I'm sure it very much hurt her about Giannis. I mean, she was kind of friends with him, and it was very brutal and vicious for PT to kill him the way that he did, and I think she probably wants revenge for that, because she felt, you know, a special bond or relationship with him. So, Ralph says the guy who plays PT usually plays a turd in general. He's a bad guy on Haven. And you guys watch a lot of shows, and that's an interesting point, because so many actors who play bad people, if you see them show up in a new show or movie, you usually can be like, oh my god, I think they're probably the villain or whatever, because they're stereotyped, I guess, in a way of playing the bad guy, or the person who you don't know if he's a bad guy, but he ends up being a bad guy. I've seen that a lot with a lot of actors and actresses. And when they show up on one of these like mysterious shows or where there's a killer or something, you're like, yep, that's going to be them, because they're always the bad person, you know? So yeah, I mean, do you guys think we'll end up seeing Tony? And another thing, we haven't really had much with Helena lately, which I miss that because she's one of my favorites. So I'm hoping we get more focus on her, which I think we will, because we have to figure out, you know, what's going to happen. Is she going to, I mean, I feel like she will have her babies on the show, and what's going to happen with that. And we still have Allison up in the air in her situation. And so I think we'll revisit that, and Donnie and everyone like that. Rob says, that you notice Kira has a lot more talking scenes this season than the previous seasons. Well, it definitely seems, I'm not sure how old she is in real life. I would say maybe like 11 or so, but she's, been on the show since she was very young. And I feel like, maybe she's matured more, so she's gotten more of a role in the show. Plus, they've really focused this season on her. She's like one of the stars with the star storyline of the final season. So, I mean, I think that's interesting that she has kind of a voice of her own and she's focused on since we've known her since she was pretty little. Claire says, do I think everyone who is still alive will come back for the finale? I've kind of been thinking about how they're going to do that. And I would just love to see like all of the clones in one room, like everyone who survives. And I'm hoping that, yeah, like Ralph is saying, the series is going to end with the Clone Club dance party. I have a feeling that it will be a happy ending no matter what goes down before the finale or who dies. I think they will go out with happiness. I just don't see it being like a super dark show and ending on terrible death or a terrible situation. This show, as much as it has some dark moments, has so many special, funny, sweet moments. I mean, one of the reasons I love it so much is the humor, which is interesting because I watch a lot of shows where it's just about there's killers and mysteries and it's not funny, but I actually do like humor and I love how they intertwine that. Claire says that Felix needs a happy ending. Maybe Donnie will come back. I mean, I want Felix to have always liked Felix, and some people have speculated that he will die, but it doesn't feel like they're going that way, and I just don't see the need to kill him. I want Art to survive. I like him. I think he's definitely on Team Clone, so I'm kind of torn about will they kill a major clone? And that's going to make me upset. And we've talked about this before if you've been to these live chats. But even with Sarah, I know she's not that popular with a lot of people. But I don't want her to die. I think she has a good heart. And I think she means well. And she cares very, very much for Kira. And people have talked before about Mrs. S. Could we see her die? Yeah, possibly. Trying to protect someone, trying to protect Kira or Sarah. I definitely could see her going down, and I really wouldn't be that sad. I mean, it would be sad. I think it would be very sad for Kira and very sad for Sarah, but I could see them going there as well. Debbie says you think they'll also set up a possible future spinoff with Kira, the psychic half clone. So I think that is a really interesting point, and I think that could definitely be a possibility that we leave some stuff open-ended to see if they want to do something with Kira, with her character. Yeah, I don't know if there's any like talk about that on the internet, but I think that would be really kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm kind of torn about spinoffs in general because I feel like a lot of times the ones I've tried to watch have been so much worse than the original show, and it's like it's trying to do something or to live up to that show, even if it's like got only one of the original characters, and it just usually fails. So, I mean, it might be something that I would check out, but not something that I would be like overly excited about. Ralph says you thought they were, Rachel mainly, going to kill Mrs. S when they picked up Kira because it was so close to the end. Yes, I thought we might have like some stuff really go down at the end of this episode, and it didn't really happen. But yeah, I mean, Mrs. S dying, I think, is a big possibility. I don't think we're finished with the deaths. I mean, I'm absolutely sure that we're going to lose Ira and we're going to lose PT, and those people I don't think anyone really cares too much about, but I don't know what they're going to do with big characters. I don't know. Claire asks a good question. Do I think Delphine and Cosima will end together? You think Delphine might die? So we already had that kind of cliffhanger at one point. I think it was a finale cliffhanger where we thought that Delphine was dead. So we've almost had like a fake death of her. So I don't know if they're going to go back to that or not. But what's interesting, on my last video that I did, I had a lot of comments with people saying that Delphine is evil and she's just pretending. And I don't know, because I feel like they really care for each other. And I definitely feel like Delphine has genuine thoughts and feelings and emotions towards Cosima. So I don't know if they're going to go there and make her like a double agent or whatever and switch it up on us near the end. I mean, they could do that, and I think that would be a good twist, but I don't know. I think it would be devastating to Cosima. Like, I think she would just die, just not, maybe not literally, but just be dead inside if Delphine had been faking this the whole time. Or maybe she could be like, you know, I actually really did fall in love with you, but I'm also working for Dyad or whatever. Ralph says you're getting the character death vibe and it's going to happen soon. I think so. And I think where they had this kind of lighthearted, funny episode next week, to me, is probably where we're going to lose. I feel like someone's going to die, possibly a big person next week, because this series actually ends very soon, August 12th. So we don't have, you know, that many episodes left for stuff to go down. And again, I think that the finale they'll try to end it lighthearted. So I don't think if they have a major death, I honestly don't think it's going to be in that finale. Yes, Musty, I agree with you that this episode was so good, and the people with Twitter were so funny. The people who run the Twitter account for Orphan Black were so funny, so if you're on there, you might want to keep up with them as you're watching the show if you watch it live, or if not, you can look at it later. They were saying things, you know, that weren't on the show that were just like funny, like anecdotes about the episode. Claire is asking whatever happened to Allison's kids. That's a good question. I don't know if they're living with her mom or what's that situation, because we haven't seen them in such a long time. I think everything's okay with them, but I can't remember if they said like she's taking care of them or what. Ralph says Cosima, Ira, and Mrs. S are your death picks. Yes, and I mean, I definitely can see Cosima dying. Okay, so if we have Cosima dying, which I don't want to happen, we could also have the reveal that Delphine was evil, because it's not going to affect Cosima because she's dead, or Delphine dies from heartbreak, or doesn't want to live anymore. I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. So Ralph says the kids are at her parents' house. Yes, I kind of remembered at one point they went there, but I don't remember if they've mentioned lately they're there, but I remember them going there at some point, maybe not even this season. And I don't really know why they've been there for such an extended time, or like what she said to her mom, but I just know it's because Donnie and Allison's life is like so chaotic, especially with adding the Helena element. Like, it's not good for them to be there right now. I saw the promo, Musty, on the episode last night, if that's what you're talking about. There's like a hair in my face. It's just like itching me. Laurent said, what Crystal did to Tatiana's boyfriend's beard with the cream was so funny. Right. So we know that when you put that stuff in your hair, it's going to fall out. So that cracked me up, because I wanted her to put it in all of his hair, because he just had so much hair. Because then he would just be bald, and it was just so funny. Claire says, why do you feel like Cosima and Delphine will have a Romeo and Juliet moment and die like they did? Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see something like that going down as well. Or like if one of them gets killed, the other one, or maybe like one tries to save the other one, but then they're both shot or whatever, something like that. They both die. That would be really, really tragic, but, you know, I could see it happening. Firkin, hi, thank you so much for being here. Ralph says when the whole thing went down with Allison and Donnie's shop, they sent the kids to her mom. Right, because it's just not a good environment for kids, as you know. And then they recently had someone digging up a body in their garage. So, like, good thing the kids aren't there anymore. Firkin is sad that Orphan Black ends in a few weeks. I am. I think it's such a good show. With, you know, one of the main things I love about it is the actors, especially, you guys know how much I love Tatiana, and it's just special in that way. And I honestly don't know, I mean, there's maybe somebody out there who could play different roles like she does, but, you know, it's going to be hard to find if anyone ever tries to do a show similar to this where someone is playing so many different roles. And it cracks me up when she is being Sarah, trying to be one of the clones. Like, Sarah was trying to imitate Crystal, but then she has to actually be, you know, but then Tatiana, it's just so cool to me. It's like she tries to do like a lesser imitation of Crystal when she actually plays Crystal, you know. I don't know, it's just really funny. Ralph says you're sad too, but glad this show won't drag out. And yes, I've said that before. I think it's time for this to end. I don't really know where else we're going to go with this. And, you know, we've been trying to meet this PT guy like all the entire show. So it's like, it's time to meet him. We can't drag it out much longer. And I think I've told you guys this before, but there's been a lot of complaints from mega fans on, you know, how kind of convoluted this series has gotten, because there's so many different like subplots, and it just sometimes gets very technical, and then they don't always wrap everything up. So there's been a lot of criticism for that. And then now, just based off the stuff that I've read, people seem to enjoy. They're trying to get like everything back on track and wrap everything back up. But if you've watched the whole thing, which you guys have, we've been all over the place with this show, like with different storylines and some very serious throughout the years and some silly and funny, which I like that too. So I just think it's at a point that what else are we going to do with this storyline? What else can we do? I feel like this has been enough amounts of seasons. We don't want it to turn into another show like Pretty Little Liars where you're just doing it because it's popular and it's making money, but you don't have a plan and you don't know what you're doing. And I don't think it's like that at all. Let's see. Musty's also happy they did not drag out the show. Laurent says if Cosima and Sarah die, you believe Helena will name the twins after them. That's cool. Do we know yet if she's having like 2 girls or they said what she's having? Clara says, remind me who Cal is. I know that sounds familiar and I can't remember who that is. Do I think Cal will come back? Is that Kira's dad? Because if so, we've talked about him before on here and I'll give you my thoughts if that's who that is. What do I think? Where did Allison go? I don't know. Where do you guys think Allison went? I don't know. Ralph says Alias was similar to this show, but with Jennifer Garner wearing different disguises, and the dollhouse is also similar. I never watched that. I definitely remember hearing about that, but was Jennifer as good as Tatiana? Yes, Kira's dad. So apparently, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I know it's coming back tonight. And I guess he's kind of a big deal on there, the guy who plays Kira's dad. And like from when we've talked in these chats before, people were like, I don't think he's coming back, which sucks because I feel like I felt like he was a really good guy and I felt like he was great with Kira and I wanted to believe he was a good person. Like I believe that. So it sucks, I think, that he's like not on the show. I don't know if that's the reason, like because of Game of Thrones or some other reason, or I don't know. Or can he come back for the finale? I don't know. Laurent says that Allison went to visit her kids. Maybe she's just trying to lay low and stuff. I'm not really sure, but we've got to get back to her storyline. Like I could see her being in the next episode. Okay, so Firkin says that this guy who plays Cal, Kira's dad, is not in this new season of Game of Thrones. So I don't know, personally. This was just kind of some speculation that happened in one of the chats we did before. So I really don't know why he's not on the show anymore. I don't know if you guys liked him, but I personally liked him and thought he was good and like a good dad and everything. So I'm not really sure what happened. He's the protector of the Mother of Dragons. Is that Khaleesi? Khaleesi, is that how you say her name? Okay. Claire says, honestly, you're not the biggest Cal fan, but due to the season following Kira, you feel only right that he comes back. Well, I don't know. Was he shady? I don't remember him being like shady. Did some of you guys not trust him? I don't know. But I felt like he was cool. I felt like he was one of the people we could trust on the show because sometimes, I was a little nervous when he came back around, especially because he like went off with Kira for a while, right? Just like the two of them to protect her. So I don't know. As far as Twin Peaks, I want to mention I'm gonna be at a hotel tonight, so I don't know if they have Showtime, to be honest. But I forget I can watch it on my laptop, so I'm gonna try to watch it because I can watch it on Showtime online. I'm not going to be doing a live chat. We'll just go ahead and put that out there while on the normal time that I do it, like Mondays. But I could possibly, when I get back Thursday, I could possibly do one if you guys would be interested. I know some of you in here watch Twin Peaks, so I will be watching. I'll try to watch it tonight. I should have time as long as the Wi-Fi works. I don't know if they have Showtime. Some people don't. Okay, Ralph says you don't know why he would not be on Game of Thrones. I have no idea. I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like I should Google and figure out why is he not back on Orphan Black? Do we have a reason? I don't know. Because I don't remember how it ended with his character. Did it end like he was going away somewhere or something? And you guys are talking about stuff that I don't even know about at this point with Game of Thrones. Like, I know key names, but Danny and Ralph, I know Ralph is in here, but Danny and Maureen and whatever, I don't know. Apparently this guy is also a singer-songwriter on Nashville, which I did watch, like the first and second season. I did like that show. I just kind of forgot about it. Feed is coming out on Tuesday. This is Troyan's movie, right? Okay. And is that it, like in theaters, or can we get that online? Claire says, do I think Scott and Crystal's friends will get together? I don't know. I really don't know if we'll see much of Crystal anymore. Like, I want to, you guys know, but I feel like they have to focus on the serious stuff for the rest of the season. But I also didn't expect a Crystal devoted episode. I didn't know if we would get that, especially since we just had that Donnie and Allison episode, which was great. But, you know, she's not as big as them, but still, she's so funny to me. I loved her. I love the YouTube references. You know, she just got into 50K, and then Orphan Black, on Twitter, they tweeted out, let's get her to 100K. And it was funny. People were like, no, let's get her to 1 million. I'm like, yes, I would totally be subscribed to her. She's just funny. I mean, actually, I probably wouldn't like I don't really watch people that just talk about beauty products or whatever, but I like her. You know, even though she's a fictional character. Lauren says, you think we might see Crystal one more time? And I kind of envision that we see everyone, which some of you guys said earlier in this chat, like everyone. I want to see like all the clones at once in the finale, like happy ending. That's my hope for the finale. Yes, Scott does need a win. Poor Scott. That was some funny stuff. Firkin says the YouTube video was hilarious. Yeah, it was so funny. It was almost kind of like a live chat though, because when she took the stuff out of her hair, and it was like, oh, her hair is actually attached to that. So funny. Yeah, Feed is a movie. So if it's coming to Netflix, then I'll definitely like try to watch that in a couple of days. Because I like Troyan. Absolutely. Yeah, so this was just an episode that I loved, just like my favorite 2 episodes of this season, which you could probably figure out, or would be this one and the Donnie and Allison. Now we just need like a crazy Helena episode, because I love when she freaks out and like eats everyone's food and stuff. I don't know if we'll get that, but I love when she's insane and like talking about how she loves Donnie, and oh gosh, I just love it. So like I said, I definitely think next week's episode is going to be serious, because there was too much silliness in this one. Ralph says, you love how Sarah and Mrs. S tolerate Crystal and her tinfoil behavior. Yes, so funny, even though they're like rolling their eyes or whatever. And it's just funny how she always kind of figures things out, but everyone thinks she's not very smart. Musty loves Helena too. Firkin says, yes, we need more Helena. Yes, 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 yes. Claire says, the good thing for Tatiana about the show ending is she won't have to put cornrows in her hair every day anymore. So do you think that's like a wig or what? Because I mean, she has to wear so many different hairstyles on this show. Like, definitely the Crystal hair is a wig, but I always wondered about that with Cosima's character. But I am excited to see like what Tatiana does after this, and I will definitely be interested if she does a movie or whatever. So you guys will have to let me know if you hear of anything, or if you've heard of anything so far, because I want to follow her, and I like wish her the best and hope that she gets some amazing show or something. And if she's like the star of a show, I'll definitely try to check it out. Yeah, Fergus thinks she's wearing wigs. I mean, I feel like where she has to play so many, if she only played Cosima, like I could see it being real all the time, but it's like she plays so many people, she has to keep changing her hair. It would be hard to actually, like, obviously she can't dye her hair, like bleach her hair blonde and then dye it black for like the same show. So I feel like definitely like Crystal's hair has got to be a wig, but yeah, so I was just so happy with this episode and looking forward to what happens in the rest of the episodes. Ralph says, Donnie Hendricks, you look like cute stuffed pig. Yeah, funny. I mean, so funny that she's in love with Donnie, and she, you know, she would never try to steal him away from Allison because she loves Allison, but she just thinks he's really hot or whatever. And you know, Don, I mean, he's a nice guy, but I don't think he's like a guy that everyone would be like, oh my God, he's just like so hot, you know? Firkin says there's a lot of, yeah, definitely. I've seen some bits and pieces of Game of Thrones. So I'm sure people have to wear wigs and whatever in that show. Absolutely. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for being here. I didn't know how many people would show up since this is just like a weird time and a weird day. I really appreciate you guys for being here. And I hope if you have seen Gypsy, you will come back at 3 p.m. Eastern. Please, please, please come to that chat because I have so many thoughts that I need to tell someone. I haven't talked to anyone about them and I need to. If you haven't watched it, I do recommend it. It's Naomi Watts she's the star. And I'm trying to think if there's anybody. Oh, Gwen was going to call her Gwen Stefani. Gwen, what is her last name? Blythe Danner, Gwen's mom, is also in this show. Not a star, but a supporting role. So I'm hoping some people come to that because I just really have so many thoughts about Gypsy. I was really into it, really all about it. Need to talk to someone about it. Thank you so much for being here for Orphan Black. We should be back. Well, we will be back on the normal schedule next week. Actually, I may move it up because I feel like we always do the live chats too late, and it's been like I forget things about it. Yeah, Ralph says you think they're both weird. Allison and Helena would share Donnie. Honestly, yeah, I could see that happening. Mina, thank you for being here. That was nice of you to be here. I appreciate that. Debbie says, what if we kill off Allison and Donnie and Helena wind up together? No, I like Allison. I don't want her to die. Like, that would make me so sad. No. Thanks again for being here. Oh, Gypsy. So Gypsy is, you know, people described it to me as a psychological thriller. Sort of. Although it's not very thrilling and it's not very scary. It's more like, oh gosh, it's like a thinker kind of show about deception and about people with mental illness who people don't think have mental illness, just someone who is just psychotic. Basically, she's a therapist. Yeah, well, Ferguson's a psycho thriller. So Naomi Watts is a therapist, but she gets like super involved with all of her patients, and she's a very interesting person. So people said it was slow, and honestly, I did not think it was slow. Not any of it. And the more you get into it, like you don't want to stop. 10 episodes. I don't know. Disclaimer. I don't know who's watching this right now. There's some very like very R-rated scenes or beyond R in there. Just a heads up. Like, it's funny because like How to Get Away with Murder, you know, we all watched that, and somebody told me, like, I don't know, they were 15 or something, maybe younger, 13, and so they watched that. They told their mom to watch it because I talked about it a lot, and they started watching it with her, and I was like, oh my god, because there's like some scenes in that show that are okay. I mean, like here's the thing. If you're planning on watching this with your mom or dad, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend that with Gypsy because there's some, you know, it goes there. There's a lot of stuff in it. Just a heads up about that. But no, I didn't think it was slow at all. Yeah, there's definitely some twists, and you're always trying to figure. It's one of these things that makes you think, and you're always trying to figure out what is going on, what are these people doing, and there's a lot of moments where you're like, oh my god, did this really happen? Stuff like that. And there's possibly going to be a second season, and apparently it's going to be way more of a thriller if we get that, which we'll talk about in the chat. So watch it, seriously. Disclaimer again, it is not really like anything else I do on this show or on this channel. So we'll say that, but I would just go into it, see if you like it. If you don't, hey, no big deal. But I didn't even know what it was about, but so many people asked me to watch it, and then I was like, oh, liked it right from the beginning. So Big Little Lies Season 2, they haven't said when it's coming out, but I'm pretty sure it is. So to me, Gypsy almost had that vibe. It's like when you have an excellent actress, and then they had so many excellent actors in Big Little Lies, it was almost like, well, I could pretty much watch whatever they do because Naomi is so good, and she's so, like, I was just wrapped up in her character and her acting, and I'm just like, you know, whatever she does is probably going to be good. And sometimes when you have such great talents in a show, it doesn't even really matter what the topic is, it's going to be good. So that's what I would say about it. I don't know. There's so many people online that don't like it, so I will just tell you, like, if you're not into it, that's, you know, you might not be. And you don't have to watch it. But personally, I loved it. And it's not something that, I'm surprised so many people recommended it to me because it's really not like anything else that I do. It's not teenagers. It's not teen drama. It's not college drama. It's adult, okay? So that's what I have to say about that. But I like adult shows. To me, it's more like a Big Little Lies with that kind of vibe, I feel like. Definitely, that's what I would compare it to. All right, so apparently Big Little Lies is nominated for 13 Emmys. I love that show so much. I can't wait for it to come back. So thank you guys for being here. I hope to see some of you really soon for the Gypsy chat. I'm so excited. If nothing else, I think Birkin will be there because I'm freaking out about talking about it. I have to talk about it. Hope you guys are having a good weekend, and I will see you very soon. Bye.